Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to talk about the whole Beauty Bakery Huda Beauty situation. Now, if you don't know, Huda Beauty is kind of in a bit of controversy. Her new line is centered around a bakery theme. And of course, this got a lot of Beauty Bakery fans, in a frenzy and very offended, as I am. Now, I never bought anything from the Beauty Bakery as of yet, but I love how the Beauty Bakery is cake, dessert, and bakery themed. It's just like everything goes together, She has brownies. She calls her brow gels brownies, her gel eyeliner gelato. I mean, it's just so clever. And, I heard that she was a cancer survivor and, she basically turned this little idea into a big brand. And she's still an indie brand, but she's growing, and I wish her nothing but the best. Now, what Huda Beauty came out with was something that took basically her concept. And she never did it for her whole makeup brand, but what she did was she took the concept from an indie brand, a smaller indie, and might I add, black-owned brand, and applied it to her new line. What a lot of people are really pissed about is how, here we go, here is another example of how non-black owned or white owned brands or white owned businesses and people basically just take concepts and ideas from black people and specifically black women. And this is such a history. This has been happening. And I so agree. That's the first thing I saw when I saw or heard about this Beauty Bakery theft, and not even theft with quotes, but this is the first thing I thought of, and I definitely saw with this controversy with Huda Beauty. And I not only heard that she does this with other brands, but I also heard a slight bit of bigotry from her, and I will get into that later in this video. I'm really pissed that here we go, another non-black owned brand stealing the concept from a black woman, especially one that they see is starting to get up there, one that is starting to be successful. I wish nothing but the best for the Beauty Bakery. I am looking forward to purchasing their foundation, but of course my shade is sold out. It's still out of stock to this day, and I'm just waiting for it to come back. I'm sorry guys, I'm just getting a little off topic, but but a lot of their things look really good, and from the reviews, everyone loves them. So this brand is doing well, and it's on its way to being like the next big brand. It's still technically an indie brand, still technically a small brand, but it's moving on up. But of course, you have an established brand already like Huda Beauty riding the coattails of not only a small indie brand, which I heard she does a lot, but also a black-owned brand. That's what made it look bad. So, in my opinion, I am really pissed that this happened, but hopefully this doesn't stop the Beauty Bakery. Also, she did a response. The CEO did a response, and her motto at the Beauty Bakery has always been, be better, not bitter. And that is very cute, clever, and also very true. And I agree with that to a certain extent. So she said, hey, everybody is invited to the baking party, including Huda, especially Huda. So that's just her way of being nice and saying, hey, we're just going to keep growing no matter what. Nothing's going to stop us. And I appreciate that, because as an entrepreneur myself, I do say, you know what, this is how you respond as a business. You don't want to come off like you're just some two catty people going at it on social media. Just be business respectful. Let your fans or your consumers and customers handle that and have their own opinion. Because I can speak as a customer for her brand, but if I'm an entrepreneur in that light, I would have to be very, respectful, or at least very PR-like and diplomatic here. So I understand why she said that. And in my personal opinion, I think she should give the Huda Beauty a taste of their own medicine. I believe that she should give Huda Beauty a taste of her own medicine, meaning that she should incorporate something in her brand, put her little twist on it, and just to show Huda that, you know what, we could do this too. And we have a big fan base too. People may flood to our store and our business and our brand to get our stuff, and we could take the same concept you put in your brand, that's probably from other indie brands as well, and we could put it in our brand and still profit off of it. Because this has been going on historically. This is nothing new. You know, white people or non-black people constantly taking the ideas, inventions, concepts, culture from people of color, specifically black people, and just putting their little twist on it, or just using it completely, not giving credit or claiming it as their own, and getting rich or famous or all types of notoriety off of it. And then soon people, they start acting like it was a new concept. This is what I believe is what's happening, especially when they start seeing us doing well. One, they have to ride our coattails, especially when they start seeing us doing well. And two, they don't want us to see us doing well, but when they see something that we do is doing well, they try to take it and use it. One thing I have to talk about is the diversity going on in the beauty industry. I was going to talk about this in another video, so I'm only going to touch lightly on this. So my thing about this diversity going on in the beauty industry, how we now see lines come out, they do a foundation launch and it comes out looking like Fenty Beauty. So of course Fenty Beauty came out last year in September, and with a full 40 shade range, and you know, people flocked to it, and of course the darker skin shades sold out almost immediately. A little after it launched, I went to a Sephora and my shade was gone. and it's available now, thank God, and I can easily get it whenever I want, or at least just order online. But the shades sold out completely. And of course, multiple people, specifically people of color and black women, they said, watch how all these other brands are now gonna come and extend their shade range, or come out with a new foundation with like 30, 40 plus shades. And of course, they're just riding the coattails off of a successful black woman. I find it funny. You didn't care about us before, and I heard Huda Beauty is full of bigotry, and I'll get into that, but you didn't care about us before, but now that you see, oh wait, there's potential here, so we're going to extend our shade range. As someone who's an entrepreneur, I see it. Do what works. If you see this as marketable and profitable, then of course you're going to put it out there, because if you don't see it as an asset, then why would you go into it? Okay, so I see that as a business side. But as a consumer, I look at this and I say, no, why don't you care about me? I deserve to be included. We exist. And in a way, you know we exist, but why are you still not putting out our shades? I live in a predominantly melanated area. I'll go to some of these drugstores up the street, and the darkest shade they'll have is like a medium tan, dark tan, or something like that. It's not as dark as me. It depends on which one I go to. So I'll go down to Manhattan, and chances are I'll find my shade in one or so Dwayne Reeds rather than the one around the block from my house, and I can barely find my shade unless it's like CoverGirl or something like that. I feel like CoverGirl and possibly Milani Cosmetics, those are the only two that I can find my shade. And if I'm lucky and I find Black Opal or Black Radiance, but other than that, I can't really find my shade in all these other companies. And that's another thing we're getting into. The fact that these companies say, okay, our shade range is so extended, we have this many plus shades, we have like 18 shades, or we have like 20 shades, or we have like 20 plus shades, and of course the shade range will look nice on the internet, but they never put them in the store. And then we're saying, well, it's there, we're not going to take a bunch of different guesses trying to figure out our shade just to get the wrong shade, or a shade with the wrong undertone that we thought was our shade, you know, because we can't see what they look like in store because they're not there in the stores. So first we're talking about extend the shade range. They extend the shade range, but they don't put it in the store. And what I find funny is some people have mentioned the demographic, about how they don't put it in certain stores because a certain demographic where these shades are or are not living there. And that the demographic thing seems to be very deflective, because I live in a highly melanated area where there are not too many people. There are people of fair skin tone, but I'm talking about two people of fair skin tone who are non-people of color. That you're selling shade ranges for people who are non-people of color in an area where there are people of color. That makes no sense. So the whole demographic thing is just, I believe, a lie, which is why there's so few to choose from. So Huda Beauty. Now, of course, ever since Fenty Beauty came out and it's successful, you know, I'm starting to see Huda Beauties coming out with their foundations that, okay, very impressive, very extensive shade range. Okay, I could probably find my shade in her foundation. I've seen makeup tutorials where people are using her eyeshadow palette. Okay, they can make good looks off of that. I've been to her site. Her site is very pricey, $40-something for a foundation. She's selling like Bobbi Brown and Smashbox Cosmetics and NARS prices for foundation. Jackie had stated that, you know, Huda Beauty, are you really diverse, or are you just pandering? And that's something I believe she is doing. I've heard about her past bigotry. You know, of course, she's Arab, or she's of Arab descent, and let's be honest, they are not exempt when it comes to being bigoted, especially towards either other people of color or people that look like me, black people of darker skin tones. Huda basically had like 2 black or 2 dark-skinned females on one of her packaging, on her packaging for, I think, her eyeshadow or something like that. She wanted to showcase diversity, and this was, of course, soon after the Fenty Beauty launch. And I looked at that and I say, okay, look, we're getting up there, you know, give these dark-skinned models and give these black models their time in the sun, give them their opportunity, they deserve it. But even though we are being represented, that doesn't mean the thing is diverse, or we're truly tolerated. I believe that a lot of this is pretty much pandering. You know, we saw the same thing with Tarte. Tarte came out with like a full shade range with 50 shades of like beige, 50 shades of white, and then the rest there were like 2-3 dark skin shades or skin tones that actually could match someone like me. I don't even think I could find my shade in that range. Even if it looks like my shade, the undertone would have been off. And then of course they're saying, okay, wait. We put this out, okay, we see you're unhappy, just wait until we get more shades. No, we are not a secondary choice. Okay, we are not something you put on the back burner and then tell us to wait for you. And you know what? I think they feel like they can get away with that, because I'm going to say, us black women and us people of color, I think we've coddled them so much to the point where they believe that we'll just continue to wait on them and wait for them, or we'll just not speak up and stand up. And I do believe the only reason they're coming out with these shade ranges and preaching diversity is the fact that we've spoken out so much, and because Fenty was very successful. You know what I'm saying? Even though, yes, we should be included, we should be heard, we deserve a spot here, we deserve to be treated as equals, you know, we deserve to get in, but that doesn't mean these companies really care about us. And I also wanted to point out this too. If you believe that someone like a Huda Beauty is taking all the credit, the concepts, and ripping off a black-owned business and a small indie brand, why do you keep shopping with them? Why do you keep buying from them? And maybe it's easier for me to say this because I've never bought from Huda Beauty, and I am all about supporting black-owned businesses because I have one myself, and I would want my people and pretty much everyone to support me as well as I would support them. But my thing is this. I see a lot of black women in the comments of the Beauty Bakery talking about, you know what, this is what Huda does. You know, this is going on forever. Black women have been doing things for years. Black people have been doing things for years, and then non-black people, specifically white people, take things up and just use it as their own thing. They take our concepts, our culture, our this and our that, and they use them for their benefit so they can profit off of everything, especially if we're small and we're just starting up and we don't have too much of financial or any type of backing to protect ourselves and things like that. So I'm saying, okay, then why are you buying from Huda? Because I guarantee some of you complaining are the same people who are buying from Huda or who have bought from Huda. If you know her bigotry was real and if you think her diversity was fake, then are you still buying from her? Save your coin. I see a lot of us getting so pressed about these shade ranges that don't come out from other brands when they do a foundation launch, or how, look how all these brands are now coming out with an extensive shade range because Fenty Beauty was popular. Well, if you know it's all pandering, and if you know it's fake diversity, if you know that Huda does this, if you know she was bigoted in the past, don't buy from her. It's so simple. I believe that time, that money, and that energy we go venting on the internet and answering back to people who sound so ignorant, we could just save that and put it towards Black-owned businesses. I'm sorry, but I'm saying at this point, it's one thing to demand inclusion, because I'm saying, where's my shade? I'm saying this: we deserve to be included. But at the same time, if it's starting to turn into begging and pleading, and if you feel like the shade ranges from a site that you initially supported is not doing their part, just not boycott them. But I've seen this before. Just replace them. Like, Hue Noir is actually in Target. I don't know if it's in a Target close by me, but it's in Target now. And I believe I had found my shade on that site. And I pray and I wish them nothing but the best. Hue Noir, they have foundation. Okay? APDG, they have a very flexible, a very extensive shade range. Give them your business. Show them your patronage. All this time you're wasting wondering, oh, Tarte, does Tarte have my shade? Why doesn't Tarte have my shade? It Cosmetics doesn't have my shade. Benefit doesn't have my shade. A few other of these brands don't carry my shade. Or at least in this line, they don't carry my shade. That money you could be saving, we could be building with that. That money you could be putting in your pocket to build for yourself, or to start your own cosmetic brand. Okay? That you could be saving your time, energy, money, physical, mental, and emotional health just by buying Black. And of course, that sounds easier said than done, and I understand it. We deserve to be included, not taking that away. But however, that Black-owned business who needs your help to grow, who needs support to grow, who needs that coin to grow, especially if they're not getting capital for whatever reason, that money you could put towards them. You could help them be the next MAC. You can help them be the next Smashbox or Bobbi Brown or whatever big makeup brand there. If you start wasting some of your time actually focusing on who doesn't have my shade range versus, you know what, there's this Black-owned business out here who's most likely to cater to me first and foremost, than these other brands who actually think of me second, or these other brands who always wait to come out with a foundation launch to mess up just so they can say, okay, hold on, we're going to get this right. And I'm not going to say that they shouldn't get it right, because as a business, first of all, you should get it right the first time, or at least try. Or at least try to get it right the first time. Okay? Second of all, yes, you did try, you did your best. You're supposed to do that. That's what you're supposed to do. In my Chris Rock voice. You're supposed to do that. All right? But now it seems like pandering nowadays is always being confused with diversity. And I say, Black women, don't fall victim or don't fall fool to pandering as diversity or people accepting you. You know, you should be happy. I will be happy if I know someone is thinking about me out there and they put out a good shade range. When ColourPop came out with their no filter foundation, the only problem I had with finding my shade range is the fact that all the 3 of the foundation shades look so close on the spectrum, I did not know which one to pick. I ended up picking 195, and I'll do a video on that another time. I ended up picking 195, and, you know, it turned out to be pretty good based on what they said. But I digress. So yeah, if you have a problem with brands like Huda taking the concept from Black women and taking the concept from, you know, indie brands and using it for their own benefit when they've already been established, I don't know why you need to take another concept from another business that has nothing to do with you. You know, and even Cake and Cashmere, she said it. There's room at the table for everybody to eat. So why do you have to steal her slice of the pie? If there's room at the table for everybody to eat, then why do you need to, you know, have her slice of the pie? Why do you need to take what's hers? You already have yours. Also, I remember this hearing from Boyce Watkins, who quoted it from somebody else. You'll never find a hater doing better than you. Something tells me Huda Beauty, you're kind of acting like a hater. She must be doing better than you. The Beauty Bakery must be doing better than you because you're coming off like a hater. But anyway, that was my opinion on the situation. That was my little rant on the situation. And what do you think about it? You know, just tell me in the comments what you think about this whole situation. Do you think Huda Beauty was wrong for this? You know, do you think there's room at everybody for the table to eat? Or do you agree with me and believe that, you know what, why don't we just put our money towards brands that support us in the first place? So yes, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, okay?